What's up, everybody? It is I, Sigma, and we are back with episode 23 of the BBET GamesCast. I'm joined by Superman Jeff 12.
What's going on?
As well as Blue Bones.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy.
And as we do every single week, we're going to start off with what we've been playing. Do you guys mind if I go first? I kind of want to get this out of the way.
Bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. He's like, yeah, let's just knock it out.
I did not have any games to review for like the past week and a half or so. So I finally got a chance to play some stuff I wanted to play. And then I instead played a game that I had no intention to play in because I just remembered hearing about it. It was this game that's now on Game Pass called Minit, spelled M-I-N-I-T.
I saw you on that, and it's funny because I was looking at the trailer. I was looking for some new games to play, and I saw the trailer. I'm like, this is a weird concept.
Yeah,
so I'm curious to hear your take on it.
Like, the look of it is not anything impressive. Like it,
Not at all.
like it has like very strange character designs. Like they look like kind of goop people, or like it looks like weird like notebook doodles are like what the characters are, and it's a black and white world, and it's basically top-down Legend of Zelda type gameplay.
It's like what's it called? Undertale.
Yes, yeah, very rudimentary like Undertale and stuff. But the thing that sold me on it is when I watched the trailer, it played this dope like chiptune song as they were telling you like kind of like, oh, you picked up a cursed sword, and then your main character dies after a minute.
Yep.
So it's a loop. Every single time you run through the world, you have 60 seconds to do whatever you need to do before you die and start back at the beginning. And you guys remember when I told you about that game I had to play for review, Stranded Sales? I was annoyed by the constraint where everything you did costed energy, and then they would purposefully do things that kind of ate up your energy so that you would just keep resetting and have to do other things to get more energy. Weirdly enough, this is not at all similar to that. Like, the game is designed with the fact that you have a minute to do everything in mind. So it's like there are certain things that you can do to position yourself in a way so that the next time you start, you can go right to where you want to go and like get a thing done. And like, it's literally like very compartmentalized, bite-sized Zelda, which is a super satisfying game if you understand what I mean. Like you find a thing and then it gives you the ability to go and do other things. Sort of Metroidvania-like, but not as, I mean, this is actually very backtracking, so I guess very Metroidvania-like. But like, it was very well written too. Like you would talk to characters, and like I would chuckle and like actually laugh out loud at like some of the nonsense they would say. Like one thing that you can do, like there's a lighthouse, right?
Okay.
So you get to this guy, and probably the first time you would see him, you were like maybe running around elsewhere. So you would get to this guy, and then his dialogue box literally moves super slow. So he's like, hello.
Oh,
how are you doing? And you have a minute to live. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to be able to hear what this man actually has to say. I'm going to have to like run straight to him by my next life so I can hear what he tells you.
I was just about to ask if like you take time and read every line when you only have a minute left.
See,
it seems like that's a factor.
They do things like that. Like if there's a character who has something to say to you, as soon as you get close to him, his dialogue kind of just flies into the screen. So as long as you're standing next to him, you'll see what they have to say. You don't have to press like a bunch of prompts or something.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
The same thing with like if you go by a character and they say, "Oh, I wish someone would deal with those 5 crabs in the desert," which is an actual mission. If you find those crabs, when you walk into that shop where that dude is, you immediately get the thing that he would give. You don't have to talk to him. Like you walk in the door and it pops that you have the thing.
Okay.
So, like there were a couple places where you get stuck, but it encourages you to like, okay, so if you can't figure out how to get through this section, or you don't maybe have the tool yet, go someplace else, because there's like a bunch of secrets all over the place. And it was actually very, very satisfying. The game actually wrapped up, I want to say, in like about an hour and a half. Like maybe I took a little longer. Yeah, I actually finished it in like 2 sittings, because it's actually pretty compact and short, like the game kind of suggests. But it didn't tell like a very profound story or anything, but it was super delightful. Like I don't want to spoil kind of what's causing it, but you learn, like you get the gist of, you understand why this was happening to him, and it has like kind of like a cutesy ending too. So I was actually really satisfied with having picked that game up.
Okay.
And the soundtrack is on YouTube, so definitely check that out if you want to just hear some dope chiptune music. Like, it's actually really,
Minute.
really good. Minute. MINIT.
NIT. Yeah.
And then one of the games that I've been meaning to play for a while now, I actually started up, was Outer Wilds. Not Outer Worlds, like Blue's playing.
Right.
Outer Wilds, which also happens to be about outer space, which also happens to be on Game Pass.
I saw that too when I was looking through Game Pass. I'm like, I wonder if Wilds is on here too.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Outer Wilds came out, I want to say, like 2 or 3 weeks before Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
But
I know
it's
they mad too.
kind of the same concept as Minute, where you're in a loop. Like, your character wakes up, he's an astronaut, like, you're an alien, and you're on, like, well, you're not an alien because it's your planet, I guess.
Okay.
But you're an alien to me. Like, like, your character has, like, 4 eyes and, like, 2 sets of arms or whatever. And you're part of, like, your planet's space program. Like, there are other astronauts who have gone out before you. It's their mission to, like, explore your solar system and learn things about this proto race that was super advanced and, like, disappeared off the face of the universe or whatever, right? So, simple enough. You get in your ship. One of the first things I did was land on this, like, water planet that had, like, a ton of raging storms going on. And I got too close to a storm. The storm threw me, like, across, like, the planet. I landed on, like, some island and died. So,
What?
but what happens is, as I was going through the tutorial mission, you go into, like, this museum that teaches you all this stuff about the history of this proto race and, like, your planet's objective of, like, exploring the galaxy. And this statue that no one knows the origins of opens its eyes and, like, kind of, like, does a thing to you. Like, it kind of shows you all your memories. And, like, it literally shows you your memories. Like, it shows you, like, the box of everything that you did from whence you got to the statue. So, like, you're seeing, like, snapshots of, like, you maybe looking at this character, walking up these stairs. Like, it's showing you your gameplay. Like it's recording everything and playing it back to you.
Okay.
So when I died, it did that again up until the point to where I was at that statue.
Yeah. Okay,
So
that's a cool checkpoint.
Yeah, it's super cool because
It's
the way the game actually functions is the loop is, think Majora's Mask, where all the events play out every time you start over.
yeah, but you can affect them different ways.
Well, not even. Everything is locked. Like, everything will happen as it has always happened. The only thing you gain by going around and discovering things is the information of what happens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can use what you like. For example, not to get into spoiler territory, but there's, like, this machine that's orbiting one of the planets that was built by the proto race or whatever, right?
Okay.
And before they could use it, apparently it had to get shut down, and you don't know why. But since you were on that planet, you learned from its computer systems that machine actually did a thing, like, very recently. So, like, they've been gone for, like, like millennia or whatever. But just as you've been there, like, within minutes of you being there, a thing happened at that machine. So now I know if I can get to that place before that thing happens, I can maybe see what was going on there.
Oh.
So you gotta get some insight on what was going on.
Exactly, right. So, like, the more times you explore, and, like, you get clues like, oh, a thing for what we were doing over here was on this planet, so it gives you a reason to go check out what was on that planet, and your ship kind of keeps a log of everything that you're doing, so it's easy to keep track of, like, okay, I was kind of on this thread. It's very investigation and exploration heavy. Like, there's not a lot of combat. There's, like, spacewalks. There's, like, ship navigation, because, like, if you've seen No Man's Sky, because I haven't played No Man's Sky, but think about the fact that they let you kind of do stuff on a planet. There's stuff on a planet, and then you fly out into space, and you just go to another planet. That's how this game works.
Okay.
And it's like, it's kind of crazy how cool it is, because from the surface of, like, the main planet, you can look up in the air, and you'll see the other celestial bodies kind of just spinning in their orbits. You'll see where the sun is. When it's daytime, the sun will be in the air, and then when the sun is not facing your planet, then it's nighttime. But you can literally walk around or fly around, because you have a jetpack, to the other side of the planet where it's daytime.
And see the sun?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So you can... Cool. Yeah, it's really, really cool. Like, it's a really cool effect, because the way the ship flies, like... It's kind of unreal how fast you move away from a planet and then end up, like, a planet 2 planets down, and then you can still see where you were on the other planet as it's, like, doing this rotation or whatever. But the thing is, you don't have infinite time either. So yeah, I died and you start over. But apparently the sun for this solar system goes supernova after a set amount of time.
Dang.
Yeah, so after a
That
while,
sucks.
you'll just restart anyway. So it seems like they haven't told me explicitly, but it seems like my goal is trying to figure out how to stop the sun from going supernova. But
You
another,
figure that out, let me know.
yeah, I don't want to spoil it because I'm pretty sure it's there's some really interesting stuff that I found by just investigating or whatever. So I would definitely encourage people to go and check it out if this sounds interesting to you at all. But the other thing that really hooked me is just like Minute, like the music in the game.
Okay.
Like there's a main theme that plays like every now and then, and when the sun's about to go supernova, there's like a music cue that plays. So it's like, oh, this song is playing. I have like maybe a minute or two.
Oh
before
man,
everything's
that's scary.
done. But you have this tool called a signaloscope, and like I said, there were other astronauts from your planet who were like also exploring and stuff. To find them, you point your signaloscope like into the sky, and as you know the planets that they're on go by, like it'll actually play, because they like the way they signal each other is they play instruments. So like one dude's like playing the drums, one dude's playing like a harmonica, one dude's playing like a guitar or a banjo or whatever.
Okay.
And if you're looking at where they're located, you'll hear their music.
Oh.
But if say two planets align, you'll
You'll
hear
hear
both
both
their music together,
instruments.
and they're layered.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
every different person, even though they're in different parts of the solar system, they're basically playing the same song, and it lines up, and you can hear it when you like are looking for them, and like the planets line up.
So when all the planets line up, you hear the full.
Yeah, you would hear like
score?
the full. I actually got an achievement for like waiting to do that because I was so obsessed with
Nice.
just hearing all the parts
Yeah.
of the song.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's actually really, really cool. So I'm gonna keep playing it. I'm not sure how long it is. I'm not sure how far in it I got because I want to say I put in like maybe 2.5 hours so far.
Okay.
But like I'm like really hooked. Like I want to know more about what's going on in that game's story and kind of just get to the end so that I know all pieces of the puzzle. Because it's really
Right.
like a Gears clockwork system of a world, of a solar system rather. Because all these things, like, they spin, they interlock, they are all connected in some weird way. And you, by being like a tiny part of the inside framework of like this big system,
Yeah.
is trying to figure out how everything fits together and like
How
I find
big it is
I find
and
that
how
like,
it all
super
connects.
Cool. So I'm really, really enjoying that.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing this week.
All right. All right.
What
Do you
about
want to
you
go?
guys?
Sure, I'll go. So, in light of the Witcher Netflix series coming out soon, I popped back on The Witcher.
How's that
okay.
holding up? Because it just
Yeah,
released again for the Switch.
Yes. But I have it for the Xbox, so the Switch, I won't be getting that.
Witcher Light.
The
Like,
Switcher,
you know,
people would call it.
Switcher.
Witcher-
That sounds like a polyamorous
That-
bisexual.
yeah. I'm not trying to play the 16-bit Witcher, but it's still a beautiful game. There's just so much in the game I haven't gotten to finish because I had got like reset.
Right, I remember you told that story.
Yeah, I'm slowly getting back to where I was, which is beating the main game. And then I got to move on. I still have like the other 3 DLCs. You got the
So you haven't started those
Blood-
at all?
at all.
Jeez, because yeah, I heard that they're probably like one in particular. I think has been called better than the main game.
Yeah, Blood and Wine is almost the same length of the main game. So that game, like
Right.
with all
I
the
can't do
DLC,
that,
is
man.
almost like 180 hours worth of gameplay.
Oh my goodness,
It's too much.
Yeah,
that's a
Yeah.
lot. That's a commitment.
it is a commitment, and I made that commitment in the beginning,
Mhm.
but I got reset, so that commitment kind of became in question.
Null and void.
Yeah, so I'm like, but I go back here and there when there's nothing I really in the mood to play. I'll go back and play The Witcher. And like I said, the series has me really, really getting popping back into it. I had to make a tough decision between Yennefer and Trish, and it was a tough decision for a while. The first playthrough I chose Yennefer, but I just never went back to see Trish. I just never went back.
Okay.
So that way I didn't have to make that decision. I just
So you didn't want to look your decision in the eye and have to deal with the consequences of your actions.
Make it and avoid it. Well, this time I was more content with my decision, and I chose Trish. And I was a little awkward, and then I'm on this quest with Yennefer right after I chose Trish, and it's like I know how the quest ends, so that's the worst part. I mean, it's not really a spoiler. At the end, you're going to see to find Ciri, and there's a side quest along that way where she believes that the reason why you two are in love is because a djinn put a curse on you two. Mm-hmm. So that way you're always in love. So she wants to go and see if it's real love, to see if she breaks the djinn's curse, if you two still love each other.
And you go along with this quest to be like, all right, I mean, we'll see.
She doesn't tell you at first.
Okay.
What you're doing, but then you go along with it and tells you why she did it, and then you're like, and then you got to kind of tell her if it worked, if you do still love her, or what. But
so you're essentially lying at that point. You're going, all right, well, I see that you were really upset that I'm with this other person, so I'm going to break up with her. And
no, she doesn't know. This is how you choose. Mm-hmm. So in Trish's storyline, you have to have relations at the end of that. That kind of consummates it. Boom. That kind of means you chose her.
Right.
Yennefer's at the end of hers, you have to make the same choice. By not choosing to do it, you're letting them know that
you want the other one
as well. Letting them know that it's not that way. You know what I mean? If you do both, at the end of the game, they both are like waiting for you, and you think, "Oh, this is what's going on." And then they tie you up, and they both just leave you.
Oh yeah, they're not about that life.
That makes sense.
So
that's just about right.
So you have to make these tough decisions. Now, each one, they make it so that way it's a very hard choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is one of those things I would have put into when we said most difficult
hardest decisions. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's been like, who do I choose? And I chose Trish because Yennefer's a little controlling. She can be a little bit much. She's got me on this quest, not telling me really why I'm here, stuff like that, and
she's manipulative.
It's just her way, and it's like, I see you. And so obviously I chose Trish. So that was The Witcher. I also played Enter the Gungeon.
Oh, I started playing that a little bit too.
Yeah.
How do you like it?
It's a really fun game. Doesn't it have multiplayer?
I think it does.
It
might be. I don't know if it's local or online though.
Okay, because I was going to recommend that for us to play a little bit, because I did see that when I was playing it, like at the bottom on the Game Pass feed, because it is on Game Pass.
Yeah.
It did say there was multiplayer. I think it was online co-op or something, but it was pretty cool. I think I played like an hour of it, but it was pretty fun. I'm looking to go back and
explain a little bit what Enter the Gungeon actually is, in case people aren't familiar with what it is.
So it's kind of like what Blue said, is that over-the-top view. Mm-hmm. It's so you pretty much play. It's kind of like a dungeon crawler, pretty much, kind of like a Diablo-esque game. So you're running around, obviously killing minions and fighting bosses and collecting weapons. Now I don't know if each of because I've only played as the one character. I don't know if there's any differences in between them.
There is. They have some just basic skills. I think that you build up over time. That you don't notice how effective they are at first, but then later on.
So is it persistent, or is it like it's like run based? Like your character dies, and you basically start over.
That's a good question. I'm not 100% sure yet. I didn't get to get that deep in.
I didn't die. But it was pretty fun because you pick up the different weapons and stuff. Mm-hmm. Anytime there, to me, it's the dungeon crawling shooter games. I always have a lot of fun playing them, especially when there's different weapons and stuff you can pick up, different power-ups. It's always pretty fun to play. And it was the music in this one as well was very like it fit each scenario that you were in. Like I would actually listen to the music if I wasn't playing the game.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
So it was very Yeah. So the music in it was very good, and also like I said, the different enemy types. I always love different variations of enemies. I hate when it's like just the same old type of enemies.
Oh,
no matter where you going. It just makes it seem like you're playing the same level over and over again. But the enemies are very different and unique. And even the boss fights were like, Like even though it's like it looks like a 16-bit game kind of ish, the mechanics in it were very, very like
precise,
and they were very like unique to that game, and very like you had to actually learn the mechanics. Like you couldn't just go and just shoot the balls. Okay, some of them like kind of I think like you were saying we were talking about something else where you had to shoot. One of them you had to shoot these little balls to take down the shield of the enemy, and then you could do damage to them. And then it kind of rotates, and you got to kind of try to do the same thing again. So it was very unique, and it was like Raid-esque mechanics.
Right.
It was kind of like, so it was very, very,
like multi-stage,
very
like boss fights type stuff. Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how it plays with multiple people and see how it works.
So when it comes to Enter the Gungeon, it's local multiplayer.
Local, okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember that because I was thinking about playing it with Adam, but the subject matter actually looks a little too
too mature.
So I was like,
I can see that.
It might not be good to have him play that with me.
A couple more years if if it's still around.
So and that's pretty much all I played.
Cool.
All right.
Blue, what about you? What you been gaming on?
Oh man, okay, let me tell you something. I've been playing a whole bunch only because I'm doing this huge film project right now, and but when I do get to play, it's like these quick spurts of adventures right in between all my production and stuff. So starting with The Outer Worlds, I played that some more. I finally got disappointed. Just a little bit.
Disappointed. Explain.
I was kind of looking forward to really stretching out this story and meeting all these companions along the way. I feel like after the first planet, you can get 4 out of the 6 companions that you get throughout the game. I think it is, and I thought that was way too much from right off the bat. Yeah, like they were throwing them at me, and there was like one companion. So you end up on a space station. There's a medical bay, and you see this girl. Her name is Ellie, arguing with one of the medical staff. And naturally, they want you to be like, "Hey, what's going on? What's wrong?" And I said, "It's none of my business," and I just kept walking. Right? I really did. I didn't care that much. And then I looked it up. I'm like, that character that was doing that looked really like drawn out and fleshed out. Let me go see. And I looked up online, like, that's a companion. I have to talk to her. Like, I don't want to do that. So I really don't. And then there's this other dude who meets you like at the landing bay. So this is in the same area. He meets you at the landing bay. He's in trouble with some of his superiors. And on your way out, he's just like, "Hey, I see you're a cool dude with your own ship, and I'm a rebel. I can swing a bat. Let me join up with you." And like it was a super basic premise to add this dude to my crew, and there's always a choice to be like, like you trust me too quick or something like that. Like, how do I know I can trust you? But the fact that I know that they're like permanent companions is frustrating, and I think they jumped a little too quick on throwing all the companions at you.
You wanted to seem more natural, or how they would join up with you.
Yeah,
I get what
that
you
would be pretty cool if they did have some type of mechanic where, depending on how you treated that companion, they would betray you or something.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's the case yet, but I would like that feel. You got to treat people a certain way, and that's how it comes out. But yeah, they threw out of 2 planets. You got the first planet, and then you got the space station. You get 4 companions, and that's a lot. Yeah. Out of like I said, out of the 6, yeah.
I mean, they did. It is made by the Fallout New Vegas people, and they did say specifically that it's a smaller, tighter experience than those Fallout games.
Yeah.
So that they kind of did get out there beforehand to say, don't expect like a 100-hour thing. Like I think the campaign they've been toting around like maybe 30, 40 hours, which isn't that's not a tiny amount.
It's
of time.
Not terrible by any means, but. Yeah, and I had a really cool option to turn in the dude that was helping me from the get-go. I was like, I wonder how that's going to work, because you have reputation with the board, which is like the evil overlords, and you have reputation with the rebels and stuff like that. And every time you do something for the rebels, your reputation with the board has decreased. And so I was like, I wonder what will happen if I please the board. You know what I mean?
That does sound interesting.
Yeah. So I'm really thinking about going back to some of my previous saves and turn this dude in and see what happens. But as far as new stuff goes, the lady and I have been playing this game called After Party, and I talked to you guys about it before.
Yeah, one of my coworkers reviewed it.
After Party is so much fun. It's well written. I think it's super funny. I think the visuals are cute. I love the music, and I like all the little choices you get. The premise is pretty cool. It's, these two college students who die and go to hell.
As they do. As college students tend to do.
That's sad. I'm not in college right now. Yeah, they die like the day after their graduation or something like that, and they're in hell, and they're just trying to find a way to get back. Now, as they get in hell, they end up like a little bit later than they were supposed to, so they don't get processed until the next day because office hours are closed in hell. Yeah, their office hours are the times that you get tortured and stuff like that.
Of course.
It's really funny how they paint the underworld, because like everybody is super chill the whole time. And they say, like, during office hours, that's when we get tortured. But after that, everyone drinks, they have fun, they relax, and get ready for the next day. So when you're playing this game, you're feeling this relaxed feeling, knowing that torture is right around the corner. And it's supposed to be terrible. Like the things that they said happens to many different people is wild. You get introduced to your personal demon, and the two college students, they're unique because they're supposed to be sentenced together, and they're still trying to find out, one, how they died, and two, how they died and why they went to hell. They don't understand why yet. So we still haven't gotten to the point where we've gotten all those answers, but we found out that the way out of hell is to go to the devil's after party, and Satan's after party, and out drink him and out party him. And so we're on our way there.
You're trying to get into the party.
There's lots of little stories on the way just to get there and get a ticket to the VIP party and all that stuff. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, backstage passes?
No, it's supposed to be just a VIP ticket. Yeah.
No, any live bands performing?
They might have mentioned a band. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's a really cool premise. Like I said, it's super funny how chill and nice everyone is down there outside of their office hours. So I've been doing that, and of course with BlizzCon, I had to put in work on Overwatch, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So yeah, that's really what I've been getting into. I haven't started playing it yet, but I re-downloaded Hearthstone, and I might delete it. I'm still I'm still on the fence.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So that's your boy.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move off of what we've been playing this week onto our topics. First up, you guys have been hearing about this new Batman movie coming around the corner, right?
Batman. Yeah.
But they just got new casting for Commissioner James Gordon, and it is Westworld's Jeffrey Wright, Bernard himself.
Bernard.
I feel like they talked about this a while ago, though.
I do feel like I heard something about this. Like maybe they were eyeing him.
Yeah. I mean, he fits. I think that's an excellent cast.
Yeah, like I actually think that's a really inspired choice for Commissioner Gordon.
Now you got a black Commissioner Gordon and a black Catwoman.
You're right. But you know what that means? If you have a black Commissioner Gordon, that means Batgirl's black.
She's mixed.
I mean, she's still black. No matter what she mixed with, she's
true.
Wait,
one Cocoa Puff in the milk.
She's adopted. They might do that. You never know. Yeah,
milk makes it chocolate milk, fam.
But yeah, I really thought that was cool. Jeffrey Wright specifically, like he's a really amazing actor. Like he's very, very good at everything he's in. Westworld, I think, is the biggest role he's had so far. That he's
wasn't he in Inception?
Was Jeffrey Wright in Inception? I don't remember him in Inception.
I remember him in the Hunger Games.
Yeah, he's in the Hunger Games, but he was like more of a minor character there.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Maybe I'm tripping. That new Netflix movie was it or show Hotel something?
I don't think I've seen that. Whatever that is.
Oh.
Yeah.
But he's an amazing actor. Like that voice he does, like as in Westworld, is fake. That's not his actual voice. But he could totally do that and be Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I like it. I like it as a pick. This movie is actually looking better and better as time goes on. Like when they were first saying they wanted Robert Pattinson to be Batman, I know the whole world fell upside down because he's best known for Twilight. But since then, apparently he's gotten a bunch of other like smaller movie roles where he's done like pretty good. Supposedly, like he's not a bad actor. They say. Not that you need to be a great actor to play Batman, is how I've always felt. Like,
that's true, because Batman's just like, really one-dimensional.
Just look at what Christian Bale did in the Dark Knight series. Like Christian Bale is not. Christian Bale is a great actor. He did not play a good Batman. I'm sorry. That voice is awful.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Swear to me. Don't swear to God. Swear to me.
You don't have to do a voice. Like Batman never did a voice.
I mean, he did do a voice. It sounded like another human. It didn't sound like a demon creature.
No, I mean like in the animated series. I mean, like he never made a voice.
No, he did.
No, he didn't.
I swear, like, go back and listen to it. When Kevin Conroy would be Bruce Wayne versus when he'd be Batman, he talked in two different voices. He sounded completely different.
I don't know about that.
Go back and watch. Matter of fact, I'm positive you can find a YouTube video that specifically highlights the fact that he would change voices.
What, is that in the animated series? The
old animated series.
No. I'm talking about like the animated movies and whatnot. Like there was no really
movies?
Yeah.
Is he ever even Bruce Wayne in those anymore? I feel like he's never even not Batman in those.
No, it was Bruce Wayne for like a little bit.
Yeah, like just to show that they still doing Bruce Wayne.
Batman Hush. But he was Bruce for a little bit.
Does Kevin Conroy still does those? He still plays Batman in those, or is it like a new guy?
Not the last. No, not this iteration in the animated, because this one's a shared animated universe. Right. I don't think Kevin Conroy didn't do these.
All right. Well, I would definitely say check out how Kevin Conroy does it in the animated series, because it's very impressive. Like you can tell that you would think that they're two different people talking, but you can hear the similarity because it is the same guy doing the voice and it's the same man in the show. But it's like that is a difference that freaking Christian Bale never got the hang of.
Well, that's like freaking Commissioner Gordon in actually the Gotham series. The voice he was trying to do felt like it just wasn't natural.
Commissioner Gordon in which series?
In Gotham.
Like the TV show?
Oh.
Did he try to change his voice or something?
Yeah, like the way he talks, it's not like a natural voice.
Oh, you're saying the actor doesn't sound... It sounds like the actor sounds like he's doing a voice.
It's like he's trying to do a voice, like it's
Gotcha.
raspy or
that
whatever.
That voice is consistent throughout the whole thing. It doesn't sound too bad to me. It does sound gritty.
That's it. Since when does Commissioner Gordon need like a separate, you know what I mean? Like
he lives in the worst city. And I guess we're going to take a little caveat to Gotham, because I don't know why anybody stays in that city.
That's a great point.
Terrible place to live.
No matter what year it is, it's like the 1950s.
Right, like they don't get any advancements in technology.
The 1930s in 2000.
Like, why are they shooting Tommy guns when Metropolis got laser pistols over here?
Okay,
they don't make no sense.
You got flying cars in Metropolis. They
right,
driving those Model Ts. Like, man,
I've never understood that.
You know, stuff goes down in Gotham all the time. And you don't see anybody, especially the people with money, you don't see anybody saying, like, you know what? The city kind of sucks. Like, there's plenty of other cities around America that we could go through. There's so many times they're lined up like, oh, you know, let's just leave. They talk about it. Let's just leave. No, I can't. Gotham is my home. What, bro? Really?
Why do you think you got so many villains that grow up there that messed up?
Right.
Like, they just like, Just look at Smallville. Smallville has better technology.
I think Smallville's kind of far from Like that, you're really uprooting and changing your whole life at that point. But so Jeffrey Wright gonna be Commissioner Gordon. Good looks. We're gonna move on to more movie stuff. The two showrunners for Game of Thrones, Benioff and Weiss. Remember, they left Game of Thrones to start some Star Wars work. Apparently, that whole project has been canned.
Yeah,
canceled the entire trilogy.
It's supposed to be a whole trilogy, so they canceled the whole thing.
So, I don't know. To me, that kind of seems like poetic justice, right? Because they kind of left Game of Thrones on like a very, very sour note. Like, very beloved series kind of went in the toilet and felt super rushed at the tail end. A lot of people speculated it was because they were getting this Star Wars deal, and now the entire deal fell through.
And on top of that, well, it's the entire deal fell through, but these two guys said they didn't have enough time. They said in the IGN article, they said they didn't have enough time to do that and some other huge Netflix project they was working on. I'm trying to figure out what's bigger than Star Wars at this point.
Well, knowing Netflix, my best guess would be some kind of video game property, maybe?
It's gotta be. It's gotta be something huge for them to say, I don't have time for you, Star Wars. Like, the Star Wars. You know what I mean?
It's like, there's no offense to Netflix, but how much they would have made for a trilogy for Star Wars compared to a Netflix series, they couldn't have been like no type of comparison to them.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Netflix has been throwing money.
You know how much Star Wars movies gross.
I hear you. Oh, most definitely.
But do you know, have the movies since the new trilogy has started, have they been steadily going up, or have they been like trending downward?
I think they're trending downward. To be honest.
Wasn't The Force Unleashed like #1 movie at the box office?
The Force Unleashed is not a movie, though.
It was definitely a video game.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
You talking about The Force Awakens?
Yeah, my bad. But wasn't it like had the highest opening weekend of all time before
The Last Jedi
came out?
Oh, before Infinity War. Yeah. Yeah, and but that was the start of this like new era, right? And a lot of people didn't like that. A lot of old school Star Wars fans didn't like how they were kind of like out with the old and with the new. And I personally love that.
I think that's a great idea. Those old Star Wars fans are wrong.
But yeah, no, I
they literally hate everything that's not the 1970s Star Wars movies.
Anything that doesn't have Skywalker attached to it, they're upset about. And real quick on that note, these Benioff and Weiss, they were supposed to be doing the Old Republic stuff, supposedly, which has nothing to do with the Skywalkers, which I was so excited about. Not that I hate the Skywalkers, but their story's done. I
want to see something new.
Let's move on. There's more to this universe. So yeah, it kind of sucks that they dropped off this project. I feel like the I like to call them the orthodox Star Wars fans don't like the new they don't like the new series. So yeah, I would say that it's overall it's gone down as far as this traffic goes. So
do you think they'll maybe attach different people to do an Old Republic thing, or maybe Disney's they decided they want to move away from these side stories in general? Because I feel like I heard something like that, right? Because like a lot of those weren't doing well.
Yeah.
The only one I didn't do that great was
Solo.
Solo, yeah.
Solo was okay. I don't like Solo.
You didn't like Solo? I actually thought it was okay.
I didn't like Solo for how they marketed it. Right? They made it look like there's going to be a whole nother Star Wars epic adventure when it was really just a heist movie in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
If they marketed that, like, look at this this solo adventure, right? I feel like they hyped it up to be such a grand impact to this galaxy when it really wasn't.
I mean, it was the origin story for Han Solo, though, right? Like, do you feel like it fulfilled that?
Barely. I think it barely did, because you still don't know too much about where he came from. The double crosses were just too predictable, and they were kind of stupid, especially with Lando Calrissian's involvement. And I love Donald Glover. I think he played Lando for like 10 minutes of that movie, and then he was earned from Atlanta for the rest of the movie. And it was frustrating. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, we're getting way off topic.
Way off topic. But
I really hope that someone. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't think that was the first directors that they've kind of lost over the last couple of months
for a Star Wars project.
Yeah,
I haven't heard of the other ones, but that's sad. And you know, for I'm pretty sure all Star Wars fans will agree with me. We want to see more of anything at this point.
I don't know if those Orthodox ones would.
Well, that's why I say anything.
And a little side note: this isn't Star Wars related, but since it kind of intersected with Game of Thrones, one of the spinoff series, the one that was supposed to take place 1,000 years before the current one, yeah, that one got canceled.
What?
Really?
It went to pilot, and they didn't order any more episodes after the pilot.
Wow.
But
all
they
these
did.
Prequels are getting chopped.
Yeah, they're still working on the one that's supposed to cover the Targaryen Civil War.
Okay.
That's the one that got the actual trailer, right?
No, the one that was supposed to take place 1,000 years before the original series. That one had the trailer.
And that's the one that got canceled.
That's the one that had
that's crazy.
A trailer and a pilot episode.
That's heavy. That's heavy.
So I'm hoping they air that pilot episode.
They probably won't.
Why would they air it?
Yeah, they probably won't. But you might be able to find it somewhere on the internet eventually.
Because
maybe.
usually the only place you can find a pilot is the series gets ordered. So it'll be like it'll be a pilot episode 1, and then it'll go in sequence. But usually the pilot's in the beginning. But I mean, with Game of Thrones, I mean, it has to come up somewhere.
It'll probably pop up on like somebody's YouTube, like
a
year and a half from now.
You like see a shaky screen and someone in the background they're like, shh, just watch.
Now, do you think that it had to do with a lot of the backlash they got from the ending of the last one, that they want to make sure that whatever comes out is going to be like on a higher level of just a higher level in general? Like, we can't put out anything that we aren't absolutely positive will be a hit.
Well, this was supposed to air on HBO, right? Like, this wasn't on some other streaming thing?
Yeah.
I feel like HBO in general is always about that quality. Like, I can't really think of much, even if it's not to my taste. Like Entourage, for example, I did not like. But
it's really well done.
Yeah, like
you can still appreciate that.
Yeah, HBO, they kind of have a bar that they tend to just hit. So if whatever was made in that pilot was just not at their level, that's probably my best guess as to why they wouldn't let it go forward, as opposed to whatever the fans are thinking. Because regardless of how Game of Thrones ended for the, 8 years?
Yeah, well, I think it was a little more than that with all the weights in between.
Right, yeah, it was like time in between. But the 8 seasons, I think, of the majority of that was actually really good. Like, it was a cultural phenomenon for the majority of that time, even if it didn't end great.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
So I don't think the ending would push them away from just doing more good Game of Thrones if they thought it was good.
I can see that.
Me too.
Speaking of HBO, real quick, I'm gonna just take a little right real quick.
Go right
in. Watchmen is great.
I've been hearing. I don't want to start it yet because I want to binge.
No spoilers.
I know. I'm not gonna give no spoilers. I'm just saying, Regina King. Yes, Regina King. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, she's like the one of the leads, right?
She is the lead.
Now you just spoiled it for me. I didn't know she was the lead. Now I would have found it out when I watched it.
Hold on, Jeff. Cover your ears. Earbuds.
That's like KC spoiling Game of Thrones for me. I was like, why would you tell me that? I'm gonna watch it.
Jeff, you should have known there was dragons in it, bro. You didn't
know.
No, he's mad because I told him Ed Sheeran made an appearance.
Oh. Didn't he die as soon as?
No,
he was just in it.
He just lit out the fire.
Matter of fact, I think they hinted that his group of soldiers died later. They didn't show him die.
Okay.
He was singing.
Yeah, but I remember it just opened up with him singing around a campfire.
Yeah, very Ed Sheeran like.
It was something. Yeah. who apparently Prince did not like.
Yeah, I heard about that too. What the?
Okay,
that's so random. That's a super random thing to put in a memoir, don't you think?
It is.
But it was
I
too
feel like that was
specific.
doctored.
You have Katy Perry and Ed Sheeran that he named specifically.
Like, why?
That's heavy, bro.
Like, Prince is so far removed from. Like, I don't understand.
But he paid attention, though. You know.
Like, who just writes that? I don't like.
So petty.
That is petty for the person to release that. That's petty. Like,
Right. like Prince is long dead, but the memoir comes out now. And we're like, we're just gonna throw these insults. That's hilarious.
They're probably at his grave. You never told me.
Like, how do you feel when he passed away? You were openly like, you know, oh my gosh, he was an inspiration to me. Da da da. You know, like there's no artist that was like, you know, I'm glad Prince is gone. Nothing like that. Especially these two, they definitely released tweets. R.I.P. Prince. You know, and it's gonna be sad to see such a legend pass. All this kind of stuff. And then he's like, I don't like your music or your music, and they're kind of like really far in genres too.
Yeah, like I personally like. I don't hate Katy Perry. She's a pop artist, kind of like low tier pop artist in my opinion, but she has some catchy hits, and that's what pop is about, right?
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran, I feel like, is an amazing musician.
Yeah.
Like
I think he's all right.
He gets a lot of flack because a lot of his fan base are like teeny bopper girls who are into like Katy Perry and Taylor Swift and all that jazz. But his music is actually way better than his fan base would suggest. Like, that's how I feel personally. Yeah. But anyway, we're
how Prince feels.
Totally off. We're totally off onto something else right now. We're gonna move things back on track. Next news story. So this is a CNN story that doesn't directly tie into video games, but actually directly ties into video games. So apparently, the NCAA now is allowing college-level athletes to profit off of their name, their likeness, their image to be used in, you know, stuff. Because that's a thing nowadays. You can put somebody's face in a place without them actually being there, and then they can get paid for that. For college athletes, that's video games. That's the NCAA titles. That's the, what's the NBA version? Or the college version?
Isn't it just NCAA?
Is that still NCAA?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's all one thing. So football, basketball, college level. They used to have annual sports games just like Madden, just like 2K, etc. Yep. And they had to stop specifically because of this, because they were getting in trouble because the athletes weren't making any money, but the companies were off of using their face and stuff.
Stupid amounts of money, too.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I think...
But also opened up commercials for like...
yeah, they're not allowed to do that. Yeah, they weren't allowed to profit off of them being a sports person in college. So I think now this will open that door, right? They can do commercial. They can can they do endorsement deals?
Yeah.
They just can't get paid by the university to play.
Right. So what this article on CNN was saying is, I'm going to just go to quote one of the lines here. They said, the California law would allow athletes to sign endorsement deals and licensing contracts, something NCAA rule makers will address. Mm-hmm. And they're still trying to figure out the nuances of this legislation that they're passing. But, yeah, it looks like they can do a lot more than they used to do. And it's honestly, personally, I think it's a little concerning. I don't think it's bad that these students are getting paid because, in general, college students are broke, in general, right? In general. And you know, we got to get income somehow. But it scares me how much, in general, and I'm going to make a blanket statement, how much our country focuses and spends money on sports. And especially in the college realm, there's a huge amount of money there that the students don't see unless it comes back in school-governed spending, right? Mm-hmm. And these schools seem like huge businesses rather than actual education facilities, in my opinion.
To say the least.
Yeah.
They make millions of dollars every year based on that. I mean, I think it's good for the sport. Reason why is because think about it like this. A lot of college athletes, they want to make money right away. What do? They go into the draft.
Okay.
Right.
So they might do one year in college. If they think they have the potential to go into the NBA, they're going to the NBA. Now it gives them the ability to earn some money, but also stay in college.
In college.
Yeah, and develop more and stuff.
Exactly. And also leaves the action in college sports.
Mm-hmm.
You're right, yeah.
So that way it kind of uplifts the college. I mean, you think about it. If LeBron or would have stayed in, Kobe or somebody would have stayed in college for a couple more years, and brought that excitement that they brought to the NBA to college sports, a lot more ticket sales, a lot more of this, a lot more of that. And now the point that you can sell merchandise and they can actually benefit from that, now you'll be getting a lot more merchandise and stuff as well from that. So I think it's good to that aspect, but I think you're right as far as to a certain extent. But I mean, think about it. These colleges make billions of dollars a year. And the only way, like you said, the students see any of it is if it's poured into the school directly, maybe like a new science department or something like that. At least now they can kind of benefit from some of it. And actually, like you said, college students are broke. Now they can actually help, live.
Live, yeah.
But it's like, so I guess some of the nuance is going to be how much they can make, right?
What
because
the percentages, how much the school takes
because
off
it's
of that.
actually very dangerous. And this is a completely unrelated story, but it does kind of tie into this. You heard that Lil Yachty, the rapper, has recently gone broke?
Yeah!
The guy was making, he made like $20 million. Blue's doing a
you know what I'm talking about, right?
The guy made like $20 million last year, apparently, and then blew it all on like cars and jewelry and just nonsense spending because, once again, you heard the story tons and tons of times. He's a young dude, doesn't really have anyone telling him how to like use the finances he has coming in. So you incur all these crazy debts, and then everything you get just basically goes back out the window. So the guy's beyond broke now. He's writing checks that are bouncing all over Atlanta, this article said. So I'm not familiar with the source. It could have been just a gossip rag, but it's not an uncommon story.
Right.
You can, with these college kids, you're coming into school 18, 19, 20 years old. If your main focus is playing sports and now you're getting possibly millions of dollars at the college level for like an endorsement deal because you're a big shot, you're a big deal, you could fall down that trap too. Because the focus is not on your education at all, like even less so than it has been now. Because sports stars kind of always got the break. If you remember, I had a class with like a ton of football players, and their coach would routinely just come into the classroom and be like, all right, I need all my guys or whatever. No, and that's not the way it's supposed to go.
That's not school, bro.
Yeah, like they would.
That's not education.
They would sit around and like goof off and stuff. Like the class would really actually be able to take place when they weren't around because they didn't care. Like they had other stuff to do. Like if they're also getting paid and like, they can just throw money at this thing and that thing, whatever, like they'll be even less invested in school. You'll end up with people who don't make it into the professional level because it is still very difficult to do so. They'll probably end up kind of with no options, if they're not smart about it.
Yep. So I think it should kind of come with they should have to get God dang it,
accountant.
Boom, my man.
Financial advisor.
I think that should be something I think that should have to come with it, so that way they are kind of like, making smart investments and kind of not just, like you said, just blowing all their money on stupid stuff and then what? I got all this debt. But also I think it's going to come with, like, anywhere being an athlete, you have to maintain a certain grade point average. So
they have those thresholds.
I would believe, but I would believe that it would be a little bit more strict now, if anything else, because now there's actually money involved into it. So we'll see how that goes.
My concern is if this football player is failing his math class, is the coach in the school going to pressure the math professor to pass him?
Because I'm sure that kind of thing happens.
I'm sure it happens already. You see what I'm saying?
And like, who represents? Like, okay, so the NCAA, they're making this ruling on behalf of the players, but like, who represents the players? Like, if say Nike wants to approach a college player and say, we want to pay you $1 million to have a shoe line or whatnot. Like, does the school get a cut of any of this? Does the coach get, like, how does that stuff break down? Because I'm sure the school where this guy plays for wouldn't like to kind of see that their person is distracted by these kind of things and not maybe playing good for the school, which could also help the school because they're busy driving in Ferraris and crashing crashing cars off bridges and stuff.
Oh man.
The scary part is, right, those can't even be the main concerns right there. Their education has to be a main concern.
Right,
because they're and I'm just saying it's sad that, those are the biggest things that are going to come up.
Yeah,
is how much is the school getting paid?
Right.
Not and are these athletes going to be? Excuse me. Are these students going to be distracted from their studies?
I can't think of a scenario where they wouldn't be with like the promise of money, and who knows? Maybe it'll only be the most high profile because that's kind of. Like, there are a lot of student athletes, and not all of them, get this kind of notoriety and stuff.
By no means.
So maybe it'll only be like a tiny issue for just those elite pro-level prospects or whatnot. But either way, it's still something to definitely watch. But we're probably going to see at least the NCAA football and basketball games make a resurgence. Like, that's kind of the video game aspect of this to come back, because that was why this went away in the first place, specifically because some attorneys for these students were suing the NCAA because the NCAA, I believe, was getting paid from using the license, but the players were not.
Yeah.
So as soon as that lawsuit came out, they were like, you know what? Shut it down. Because we don't want to answer those questions.
So my question is, right, to you guys. Mm-hmm. In high school or college, what organized sports did you play? And how do you see that? If you were like the top in your field, how do you see yourself in a game in NAACP? And why do I keep saying NAACP? NCAA. I'm a little too woke. I had my coffee this morning. Let's go. Jeff, what did you play in high school, college?
I did wrestling. And I did football.
You did wrestling?
I did.
Yeah, Jeff was. I did a little bit of I think I went to the tryout, and then it wasn't my high school though, so that's why.
It wasn't your high school?
I tried out at Jeff's high school.
What?
Yeah, because I went to a technical school, so we didn't have all of the sports teams. We had a baseball team, and I made the baseball team my freshman year.
Okay.
But the coach had a dumb rule. Mm-hmm. Since we didn't have JV, we only had varsity, so it was kind of unheard of for a freshman to make a varsity team.
Yeah.
So since I was on varsity, he had a rule where you don't play. But it's like, I'm the only freshman, so I'm literally the only person not playing. So I kind of quit the team after that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I played Little League baseball like before high school and stuff. So my team won the championship my first year doing that, and then we just made the playoffs consistently afterwards.
So in the Little League game that they make, if they had your face on there, how would you feel?
How would I feel? I'd be stoked.
Yeah, I know. This sounds exciting.
Yeah, I'd go like, bring it on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was just my question. Personally, I did. I swam actually.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I was a swim team captain.
Rugby?
What's that?
No rugby?
No rugby, no football. Everyone who especially, I had I didn't have my freshman 15. I'm still calling it freshman 15, but
So this was college you swam?
And high school.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so I did 3 years in high school and then about a year in college, where I was swim team captain. We went to regionals a couple times, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. We definitely hit our district championships every year and moved on from there. But yeah, I think it'd be like it's such a interesting life being a student athlete. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because there's competition outside the classroom and inside the classroom, and you just always kind of turned high energy. There's a lot of competition.
Like I will say it does take a lot of focus.
Yeah. To
juggle two things, which is why I feel like a lot of kids, because they are kids at the end of the day, 19 years old is not an adult, not really.
No, just legally.
Yeah, a lot of them kind of mess it up. They'll let their studies go down the drain, or they'll make the decision to be like, you know what, I don't see myself going all the way in the sports stuff, so maybe I have to tone that down and then focus on this. So
and vice versa too, which is scary too. But okay.
So that's gonna do it for W.
Yeah,
I was about to say the WNBA.
Everything but the
right. That's gonna do it for the NCAA stuff.
There we go.
I actually really wanted to talk about the reviews for Death Stranding that have come out. The game is not out yet. It doesn't hit till November 8th. So none of us has played it, but all the reviews, like the embargo apparently has lifted, so all the reviews are out, and they are kind of all over the place. And I watched a bunch of them, and I really just want to talk about kind of the perception that's coming back. So just keep that in mind. We have not played the game ourselves, but we have watched some of the feedback, and I just want to talk about kind of that. So first off, IGN, which is probably my number one source for game opinions.
Yeah.
It was one of their Australian guys. I'm blanking on his name right now, but he gave the game a 6.8, which is on their scale. What is that? Mediocre? Because 7 is good, so it's like just under good. They found it mediocre, and the reasoning is the game has a lot of cool ideas. It's beautiful. It's well acted, but it's boring. Like the actual mission design.
Yeah.
Is based around fetch quests. Like you take one thing to another location, and then from that location, sometimes back to the first location. Off it.
It looks like space FedEx.
Yes.
Like low key.
Not even because it is Earth. It's just
bam. It's like Futurama hit Metal Gear Solid. That's what it looks like. Extreme delivery quests with some crazy visuals.
But it's not even that extreme, because most of the time he's literally just walking. Like you're navigating terrain. Like, okay, you have to put down the ladder. You have to balance the like the inventory management system looks bizarre as like it looks super convoluted and crazy. And like that's part of the gameplay is managing your inventory. Like that's intentional.
What annoyed me was I saw the character go up a hill or something like that. I think the character tripped or something, and all his stuff fell down the mountain. I was like, what?
Like all the boxes and cases will fly off you if you like trip and fall certain ways.
Strap on there.
So you gotta go back and either pick it up and stuff. And it's like the more you drop things or the more uncareful you are with them, like you can destroy, damage, and fail the entire quest and have to start over again because you messed up the package.
That's just spiteful.
It really is.
So,
but I get it. That was like they were trying to focus on that for their mechanics. You know what I mean?
Right, because
package management, I guess.
Because the opposite side of this, yeah. So the GameSpot review that was done by Callie Plaguey, who was ex-IGN. She used to work for IGN. She's at GameSpot now. She gave the game a 9, citing that the sense of loneliness that you get in those sections where there's nothing else around you and you're kind of walking to travel these things is the point. Because remember Kojima was talking about this whole strand system. Like he was calling it a new genre, a strand game. Yeah. Because the asymmetrical thing where other players who are putting things in the world, like ladders or zip lines or whatever, to help them cross, will show up in another player's game. And that sense of another person walked this path, another person did a thing, and it's helping me, makes you want to then leave stuff behind for other people to find. And
it's it was Dark Souls do that?
Yeah, the asymmetrical stuff, it's very Dark Souls-y. But this is kind of taking it a step further because it's actual objects being left behind, not just messages.
No, you're right.
So
theoretically, the later you play it, the easier it is, right?
Yeah, essentially, and that's kind of the point. is what she was saying. Is like,
so don't buy it right away.
No, I mean, no, not in that sense. It's like later in the game itself, like the easier it gets because you'll get upgrades and then you'll start seeing more stuff get built out. Because the point is, if you don't know what the story is, welcome to the club because it's actually very, very confusing.
Exactly.
but essentially,
I thought you were rather about to do this.
Because essentially it's like a post-apocalyptic event, like the Death Stranding, like this weird phenomenon that came, like most of the population is gone, everything is separated. There are weird ghosts that kind of kill you if you're just out in the world. So everyone is kind of in underground bunkers spread out across the country, and your job is to kind of link them together across the country with this network that's been built out, this chiral network. So as you're doing that, you're eventually seeing more and more civilization come back, because like roads actually start to get built by you and other players that you can use and stuff. And the sense of, okay, everything was gone and now a civilization is starting to come back, that's part of what he's trying to bring out. Like literally bringing the country together, which is a sentiment that is very much so relevant in today's climate. So like from that aspect, I can see why that could be a very profound experience if you look beyond maybe the boring gameplay and see that maybe it's serving a purpose to try and elicit a certain feeling from the player.
Yeah.
So the question is kind of, what is there a right or wrong way to kind of release a game? Because if the game's not fun, is that the main reason why games should exist? Or can they... Yeah, like, I'm interested to hear what you guys think.
So I believe it's kind of like video games are a form of art. And art is...
subjective.
Exactly. So it depends on who's viewing it and what their views are. I mean, that's very evident in the two complete different reviews you got. One person felt completely like the world was just empty. They were alone. This other person felt like that added to the experience. So those are the things about reviews. You have to trust a review that in the past has led you, pretty straight, and it kind of has some of the same views and opinions you have. You can't then go to somewhere else and, you never kind of agree with any of the views that came out and expect to get a review that's going to relate to something how you would perceive it. So right. I think it's very, like you said, it's very subjective to who is viewing it and what their views are. Me, no offense, I have no interest in the game.
I could have guessed.
Yeah.
What about?
It was always just like teasing, and never tells you anything. It just
until they did. Remember, like I want to say 2 or 3 weeks before release. So I don't know, because it's still like another week.
But I'm like,
he did like the 1 hour gameplay demo where he literally showed you like a whole mission of the walking and stuff. And I guess people just weren't convinced that could be the main thing you did in the game.
Well, I mean, it's like, what is the game about? I don't know. I just know a little bit about the ghosts, and the babies kind of help you navigate through that. They like help you see the ghosts.
Yeah, help you sense
But they don't see the babies as babies. They see them more as tools and stuff like that. You can interact with the baby kind of like a Tamagotchi or something like that. Like you get to know how you treat it and stuff like that. But I don't know what the overarching story is. Like, is there an antagonist? I mean, obviously hopefully you would be the protagonist. But what is your overall objective? Like, what's going on? Like, I know when I'm playing Gears, like, the locusts are the enemy. You got to stop Judgment Day or whatever it is. The Witcher, I'm here to slay monsters and save Ciri and whatever it is. Death Stranding, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm supposed to be. What's my overall goal?
At least not going in. You don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
We would like trailer show up. We see some of kind of what we should be doing besides walking. We know there's going to be some combat. We know there's going to be a little bit of this. We know that. We know we can kind of see the antagonist. Most trailers put the antagonist front and center. You know who the enemy is. When I don't know that, I'm not going to wait till the game to play the game to find that out. There has to be something that pulls me into it.
I feel you.
In film school, we'd learn a lot about log lines, taglines, and that's basically the description that you're going to see on a Netflix show. So that little paragraph, couple lines that tell you, hey, this is what's going on. So this is why this person's important or special. This is what they're trying to do, and this is what's trying to stop them. Right now, I feel like we just got, this is what they're trying to do. And we don't know anything else. And I don't think that's terrible because, there's an air of mystery. But I don't think it's good to sell it that way. Because then you have people. It's a beautiful looking game, right?
For sure. Yeah, and apparently the performances of all the A-list actors and actresses in it are like that stuff all hits.
Yeah, but why does anybody want to, besides just sheer curiosity, why else are you going to play this? Yeah, that's how I feel. Now, Jeff, you mentioned a tiny bit about combat, and I saw this one review where this dude, he was throwing like these electric bolas that are pretty much like tied up.
I did see that.
Yeah, that reminded me so much of Dead Space, where you have I think the main character's name was Isaac. And, and he was using like these little fusion cutters and stuff like that. So it didn't look like the character in Death Stranding was using traditional weapons, which is a interesting. That I noticed in there, and he's got little vehicles and stuff like that. So I know it's not all walking. He's got a little trike and
he gets upgrades and stuff.
He gets around. Yeah.
Got a little parachute.
There's just got to be a more efficient way. I need to find out why he has to walk and he can't use these vehicles all the time.
The terrain, it looked like one of the reviews I watched, like one of their complaints was that they'll give him a vehicle and then the terrain he has to use the vehicle on will immediately kind of render it useless oftentimes.
I mean, yeah, and the thing is, like, these are supposed to be ATV, like all-terrain vehicles. Anyway, so yeah, that was one thing that concerned me. And then, honestly, these ghosts that keep coming up, they're Dementors. Can we just say that? They look so much like Dementors. No, but I don't see myself buying this game right away. I see myself thoroughly watching the streams, though. Because
I think the demo would help people decide kind of which way they want to go.
I don't think I think this story is too rich to give out a demo.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the line. It's like it's the gameplay versus the story / experience, right?
Yeah.
Like whichever one you're gonna value more for this particular game is what's
gonna make or break it,
one side or the other. Because personally, like I'm kind of in the middle when it comes to that stuff. Like I'll play a game for just a good story experience, and I'll play a game for just a good gameplay experience. But for some reason, Death Stranding is not selling me on either one right now. Like I feel like it's a little too middling. Like one of the best gameplay experiences or story experiences, I guess we'll say, that I've ever had in a game was from Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons.
Okay.
It's an indie game where you control two characters with both thumbsticks. Like they're two brothers, and you control them at the same time, and you go through puzzles and stuff like that. None of the game is actually all that difficult. Like it's not that clever the way they use the mechanic where you do things with both brothers, but it serves a purpose when you get to the end. Like I'm not going to spoil it because play that game if you haven't. Please play that game.
Okay.
But it serves a purpose. Like kind of the fact that everything was kind of not that mind-blowing up until then, you see why at the end. Like that Will Smith movie 7 Pounds. Like it's kind of boring and plotting until you get the reveal at the end.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So I understand the value of that. Like because that's probably one of the best uses of video games to tell a story I've ever experienced. And it seems like that's what Kojima's going for here by kind of giving you the feeling of boringness or isolation or whatever for certain sections to make you more appreciative of like when other players help you out and stuff and things like that.
Too, yeah.
Yeah, so I get that, but I don't feel like that's compelling enough to justify it. Like the amount of time that you do these boring things kind of has to make the payoff be exponentially more exciting to kind of make that worth it.
Oh yeah.
You know, because like Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons is a short experience, so I don't have to suffer through the mediocre gameplay to get the payoff.
I think that's another thing I'm afraid of is how long this game's going to be. I see that. You know what I mean? Because if it's 30, 40 hours of walking around, that's heavy, man.
I'm not entirely sure how long it is either. I don't. Matter of fact, no. Yeah, I remember the GameSpot review specifically. They played for like 60 hours.
Jesus.
So it's that long. I mean, you can probably get through the main stuff a lot faster, but there's enough side stuff in there. But I'm like, is that more of the same? Like, I don't feel compelled to spend that much time to get this experience.
Yeah, so we'll definitely keep you guys posted once one of us actually plays it or kind of get some
more insight
time with it. We'll kind of update you on what our individual opinions are based on the new information we get in.
Right. But I encourage you, go, if you're curious about it, go check out some reviews check out multiple reviews.
Check it out
and compare and contrast what sounds good to you that you're getting and what doesn't sound good to you.
Yeah.
And actually, if one of you guys actually get the game and you play it before we kind of update you, send us some information. Let us know what you think about it.
Yeah, I'd love to hear feedback about what people who are actually playing the game have to say about Death Stranding. So definitely hit us up and let us know.
Right.
Next topic that we're going to move on to. BlizzCon just happened.
Yeah. I think it's finishing up right now, actually.
Oh, so BlizzCon is happening.
Yeah.
But
closing ceremonies today.
They had a bunch of announcements. Diablo 4 is coming. Had a big, awesome trailer. That was dope.
Yo. That trailer was hype.
What is there? New stuff coming to World of Warcraft, I think?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They got a new expansion, Shadowlands, I want to say.
They could have ended at Diablo 4 and I'd have been happy.
For real?
Well, good thing they weren't doing it just for you, because
they didn't end at Diablo 4. They also announced Overwatch 2.
Yo.
Yeah, whatever.
So before we go into what we learned about Overwatch 2, I want to talk about the trailer.
Bro.
The 0 hour trailer.
0 hour was amazing.
Oh my god, they gotta make a movie, son. Why was that trailer so dope?
That trailer was awesome. We all know, as soon as you saw Genji show up in that hoodie, all of us are, whoa!
Oh man, that was so good. That was so good, that reveal.
Damn. And it was just for a hot second, and everybody knew who it was, how cool his redesign was, and how he was as fast as he needed to be. Like, they showed, so when I was watching it with a friend of my girl, and my friend's like, this is about to be an Avengers Assemble situation. I'm like, what you talking about? And right there in the middle of the city, all these Overwatch cats started coming in from all their entrances was great.
Yeah.
Reinhardt has his man bun, his hipster man bun now.
I know, right? His sumo bun.
It looks great. They all look great. I love the character redesigns. I love that trailer.
I didn't think they could make Reinhardt look any older than he already looked. But he did look old, but it fit him. The beard, everything fit him.
Yeah, it looked like he was wearing some hipster clothing.
Yeah.
He's got like fake glasses and he drinks macchiatos and stuff on the side.
Under his beanie hat.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh man. That
0 hour was amazing.
So
it was.
The trailer kind of set the stage
to
let us know Overwatch 2 is going to have a heavy focus, well, not a heavy focus, but it's going to have a focus on PvE content. So it's still team-based stuff, but story-related things where, you and your team are doing story missions. We'll actually get cutscenes with characters and talking to each other and advancing a plot line, which is something that has been sorely missed in Overwatch 1. Like all the lore that exists.
About this for forever.
Yeah, all the lore that exists in the background.
Talked about Overwatch 2.
Yeah, I've been waiting for it. But another interesting thing is it seems like Overwatch 2 is gonna be an update to Overwatch 1 more so than an actual physical sequel.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be adding like a batch of new characters, a batch of new maps, new game modes, all the PvE stuff to Overwatch 1. Like it's essentially going to be kind of like what Fortnite did, sort of. Where like they called it Chapter 2, but it's literally the same game client. They just put a bunch of new stuff in it, right?
True. Yeah, and updated the HUD a little bit.
Yeah, so...
Now, what do we think a price on this is going to be?
I'm praying for $40.
I do think $40 might be the magic number, since I mean it's not they're giving you data to the thing you already have. Like they don't have to do new shipping for like boxes. They don't have to do a new storefront. I mean maybe they'll have a new ad campaign, so that's money that they'll try to recoup. But I feel like $40. Like it reads to me more like an expansion, like a big expansion.
Exactly.
Like Iceborne, for example.
Exactly.
And that was $40.
Are we surprised to get this with the new console being so close to coming out? Do you think they're going to make this game backwards compatible, or are they going to put a $60 price point on it for the Xbox Scarlet?
No, they're definitely backwards compatible in my opinion. It's way too close to not have that.
That's a good question. Yeah, the fact that they're doing it this way, I feel like ensures that it's backwards compatible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so that they didn't have to worry about selling the same game to a bunch of new console buyers because it'll be available there. What I do think could happen though is because apparently if you don't pay for Overwatch 2, you'll still get access to all the new characters and all the PvP stuff. You just won't have access to any of the PvE stuff. That's how they're breaking it down, right?
Yeah.
So for the new consoles, what if they do Overwatch 1 free to play? So that's your entry point. You can just download the client. You have all the PvP stuff there, and then you pay money to get
Overwatch
2, and maybe it comes with like maybe the new generation version comes with like a graphical overhaul or something. You know?
Yeah, and some kind of cool exclusive. There are going to be some exclusives on that too, like as far as maybe skins or I don't know, whatever cosmetic stuff they love to do when.
Because I do feel like Overwatch isn't the best looking game anymore. Like it looks great, but in comparison to like stuff that's been coming out recently, it looks a little dated.
It's falling back. Yeah.
So with brand new consoles and like the stuff that they're gonna be trying to push on that, they're gonna want to make that game look a little better.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm excited about this, man. I really am. I love all the character redesigns that they've been having. I like how the story is now taking place right after Winston's recall. You know what I mean?
They're essentially telling you the Overwatch 1 story in Overwatch 2. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
they're telling you where. Yeah, they're telling you where the story goes from.
Yeah, because they advanced nothing. Like all the lore, everything was all back and side story. Like everything kind of surrounding just the concept, but nothing moved forward.
True.
So,
I mean, well, the thing is, when you look at the comics, right? It's not always right before. I'm trying to think because Orisa came out to stop Doomfist, right? But you know, was it her? Yeah, who put Doomfist in jail? It wasn't Winston, right?
Winston, yeah.
Was it Winston?
It shows them when they're fighting Tracer and
okay.
Right, yeah, that's Doomfist trailer. Right.
Yeah.
So so again, that was also the past.
Yeah, Winston put him in jail, and I guess when he broke out, remember though, before on Nabani, the whole airport was clean. Yeah. But then Doomfist breaks out, and you got OR-15s in the wall, and then you know that Effie had to make the OR-15A, aka Orisa, to stop Doomfist. So there's tiny progression, but it didn't go really far.
Yeah, it really didn't go that far at all. It was kind of like most of it was kind of just happening at the same time, I think.
Yeah, like the assassination of the
Mandata.
That Widow killed.
Zenny's mentor. Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm. Them stealing Doomfist's fist, obviously, in preparation for him being released.
Oh yeah, he's all caught up now. Him and Maximilian getting back to work.
That was in the comic, right?
Well, that was also in Storm Rising.
Oh, was it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at the end of it, you see Doomfist talking to this new Omnic who looks crazy. I'm hoping we're gonna see him in Overwatch 2. He looks like this, like kind of built Omnic with some dreads. Yeah.
So, Diablo 4 though. We saw the Druid. We saw the
Barbarian.
The Sorceress.
Yeah.
And
the Barbarian.
The art style is very Path of Exile now. It looks very similar to Path of Exile.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
For me, I'm still determined. It doesn't look horrible. Path of Exile was a good game. It was more realistic than Diablo's more cartoon look. But it's interesting. It looks good. They're also going to do more of a shared world, always online, and they're going to have PvP zones.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, there's never been PvP in Diablo before, has there?
Oh, yes, there
has.
Oh, there has?
It's been heavy.
A little portal you go into.
Yeah, but you have to go to a specific area for that.
Yeah. and you had to be in the same person's game, and then you just go to the portal. You can fight as much as you want. This is going to be a PvP area, like a zone, like a town you go to, and you can just. I'm interested to see what they do with that. Also, they're supposed to say to be making the gear less powerful in this.
That doesn't sound like a thing you would want to advertise.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
No.
But maybe there's skills take over more?
I'm wondering how they're going to do that. Some of the skills looked amazing. Online, they had the barbarian, sorceress, and the druid's skill list. Some of the stuff was very unique and very, very new. The druid, to me, was an interesting choice. He looked pretty cool, turned into a werebear. So he was like a
werebear.
I know. Werebear is such a funky word. But kind of like, picking up where Jeff left off, I think that druids are such interesting characters anyway, because in classic Dungeons and Dragons and even in World of Warcraft, druids are very variable in what roles they can play. They can play tanks when they turn into bears and stuff like that. All their natural nature powers, they can give them healing abilities. And they can also play very like trap-like DPS, where they root characters down to the floor with stuff like that.
I steered away from Diablo purposefully because I know how addictive those kind of like loot-heavy games are.
Once you start building gear, man, it's so cool. You put those sets together, it's a lot of fun.
I'm wondering if I start, like when it's fresh, like when it's new, hop into it then I'll have a better chance of maybe just playing it and leaving it to go do something else and then coming back to it, as opposed to like jumping into it super late. Anybody else who maybe I would have played with has like super high level characters or whatever. Like I feel like that's like Destiny, for example. Yeah. Like put a ton of time into that, but then you can leave it alone for a while and then come back whenever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel you.
And I think you'll enjoy it more because when you're playing with people who are starting in the beginning just like you, then you're experiencing those things at the same time.
Yeah. My concern about Diablo 4 is I hope it's not the case. I really do, but I hope that they have more than just those 3 characters.
Oh yeah, they said there's two characters they didn't talk about yet.
Okay.
Are they new? These characters, or are they they're bringing back older archetypes?
They haven't said. The druid wasn't in 3.
Yeah. I don't think the druid was in any previous version. I don't think the druid was in any previous version.
I don't think he was in 2.
No.
So the druid might be a newer character, or he was in 2. I gotta double check that information.
The Necro was definitely in 2.
And they added him to 3 later, right?
Yes.
The Necro, yes, not the Druid. Druid has never been seen before.
So and then the Barbarian's back, obviously, and the Sorceress. Yeah. We did have a Sorcerer, so I mean, I would, if you make a male version, he would be a Sorcerer as opposed to.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the other 2 classes are. They haven't said if they're brand new or if they're returning ones from previous games.
I wonder why they wouldn't just add to the classes as opposed to take any out. Like because they did that with 3,
balancing thing.
Yeah, they did do that with 3.
But it's like it's mostly player versus environment. So what are they balancing?
Their PvP side is actually a lot heavier than their PvE.
Yeah.
They're 13, 14 seasons strong now, at least.
Wait, people play Diablo competitively?
Yes.
What?
It's heavy. Yeah. I'm surprised.
I've never heard of that.
Yo, check it out. Them cats go hard. Now, but I think it's just visually it's relatively one-dimensional, and that's why a lot of people don't flock to it. But, you go into those PvP games are crazy. They're fast. They are nuanced. Like, if your gear isn't the way you want it to be, you will die very fast. And
it's fun.
It's fun, though. Yeah, Jeff and I did it a couple times a while back. He beat me most of the time, but, there's some times I caught him slipping, Yeah, you just gotta know your roles. That's what it is. And I mean ROLLS. You gotta roll out the way when one buddy's slamming down those AOEs. Don't get caught up.
Well, I do want to call attention to, and I know we moved off of Overwatch 2, but we did not mention the new character Sojourn.
Yes.
This is the first black woman, not woman of color.
Not just person of color.
Black woman in Overwatch, playable.
Do you think this is a coincidence that both League of Legends and Overwatch both come out with their black female characters at around the same exact time?
Weirdly enough, I do think it's a coincidence, but I think they're both answering to the same call from the community.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Like
that might be. Yeah.
Like they didn't like, you know, internally plan to have it be this late, but the sentiment from, you know, fan bases from both sides is like, yo, why y'all got all these characters and no black woman? Like, yeah. No, I bet this is me speculating, but I bet the sentiment came from Overwatch first, and then carried over to League of Legends, because they went like, look, Overwatch has all this diversity, all these different characters, blah blah blah, but they won't throw a black woman in there. What's up with that? And then we're like, oh, you think Overwatch is bad? League of Legends been going for 10 years. 10 years, over 150 heroes. And it's
140 something heroes, and now one until just now?
Yes, I think both studios kind of heard that rising sentiment in the air and was like, you know what, yeah, let's do it finally. And on both fronts, these female, these African American women characters look. Matter of fact, let me not even say that, because Sojourn is Canadian. So she's not African American. Yeah,
she's African Canadian.
She's African Canadian.
I did not know she was Canadian.
Yeah, she's Canadian. Like a lot of the new maps in Overwatch 2, I think, are on Canada.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Like there's a new game mode too that we didn't even talk about. That push game mode.
It's funny. I was just about to talk about that because the lady and I were watching a stream last night of how that game mode goes. It's actually really interesting.
Yeah,
I can see those matches lasting a long time though. But yeah, basically there's a bot in the middle, robot in the middle of the field, and you have these two towers that you need to get him to push to these checkpoints that go in opposite directions. When you're near the bot, when it's only your team near the bot, he goes towards your tower. He walks actually pretty fast, and then he starts pushing the tower. Mm-hmm. Right now, if the enemy team comes, he stops, and if the enemy team pushes you off, he starts running towards their tower. And on the top of the screen, you see the distance that you both have pushed the towers, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's very dynamic. You can't really predict all of the areas that you're going to have fights in because of how the payload moves or the towers move. So
yeah, it's like they showed that game type on one map, that new Toronto map.
Yeah,
and it's like a winding path, but then there are like flank points all throughout it. So it looks really interesting where fights can take place, and like kind of how frantic it gets, because so yes, you could have like your tower very close to the end, but then the robot could be on the other side of the map,
side of the field, and pushing that stuff, and you have a lot of work to do to get like, all the way back.
It's super involved. Like it looks like there's a lot of strategy and craziness that can happen. Like it's like a brand new game type. Like Capture the Flag was, I think, the last new thing they threw in there, and I didn't really like it that much.
The workshop.
Well, I mean, the workshop isn't really a game type.
I liked it. I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean.
So but BlizzCon is still going on. I wonder what else they're going to show
to like close it out.
Yeah,
I don't think they normally don't do any huge reveals on a closeout, but it's
they could announce something like brand new.
They definitely could. I'm excited to see where that goes today.
Like, well, let me ask you this then: what would you want to see Blizzard do? Like a game in a brand, because like Riot basically was like, oh, we're doing a fighting game, we're doing a team shooter, blah blah blah, like stuff that they haven't traditionally done.
Honestly,
go ahead.
Kind of just what you said. I would love to see a well done, balanced fighting game from Blizzard,
like a 2D fighting game.
2D fighting.
What if they made a Smash clone?
That would be cool.
I think that would be dope.
Yeah, I think that'd be super cool. They have plenty of characters to make that happen.
Yeah, throughout just their own universe.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what would be really cool? Seeing Sonic Fox dominate at BlizzCon. I would love to see that, because Madman is so hype on a regular basis, and he dominates almost any fighting games he puts his hand on. So yeah, I would like to see a fight from Blizzard pretty soon.
All right, what about you, Jeff?
I wouldn't mind having World of Warcraft come to the console.
You want to see a console version of World of Warcraft?
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
I'm just saying. I wouldn't mind.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't want to do that at all.
I like that. That wouldn't be bad.
I do want to say, speaking on World of Warcraft, real quick, that Shadowlands cinematic that they did was amazing. I thought, you know,
they tend to be.
What's that?
They tend to always be like the World of Warcraft cinematic. Well, Blizzard stuff in general.
Blizzard in general.
Yeah.
But I mean, that one, the Diablo 4 one, all of them were great, and they drew you in, even if you didn't know all the lore. You're just like, yo, something significant is happening right now, and you can see exactly what the era that the players are moving into. So,
for me, in terms of like a brand new game, I kind of want to see like a third-person action title. Like,
ooh, okay.
Like even if it's like a spin-off of something else, like a
hack and slash, you think?
Yeah, like maybe like even a Legend of Zelda-esque adventure game.
Interesting.
Go ahead.
Like, I don't really play too many Blizzard games other than Overwatch, so I would probably like to see an Overwatch 1 of like maybe an Overwatch. Genji's probably the easiest character to like want to see that happen with, but like you could do it with almost any of them.
Yeah,
like have them like run around like a big world, like maybe travel to like open hub areas or like one big giant massive map or something, and have them like discover things and learn things and fight a bunch of different enemies. Like I would want to see them take a shot at something like that.
Event. Hopefully you get that feeling in Overwatch 2 with the PvE missions and the story missions, especially. That's what I'm saying. Hopefully, especially with the character level progression that they've been talking about. You know, where you customize the skills, you upgrade all their abilities, stuff like that. So hopefully you get a sense of that in Overwatch.
That looks a lot like the way they're doing their PvE thing looks a lot like Marvel Ultimate Alliance to me.
Yeah, it does look very similar.
I was gonna,
hopefully we get some hands-on with it and be able to kind of.
There's supposed to be a beta coming out soon, right?
Oh, that'd be awesome. So yeah, we'll definitely get back to you guys and let you guys know what our impressions are. If one of us should be able to get into that beta, so we'll be able to let you guys know what we think of Overwatch 1.5.
1.5. That's kind of disrespectful, but
oh man, yeah, that's I get it, but that's messed up.
So. Also, before we close this topic out, not to completely pretend as if we all forgot, like Blizzard just announced Overwatch 2, so all sins are forgiven.
Yeah, this Hong Kong thing.
Yeah, the Hong Kong controversy is still a thing. Blizzard's CEO actually went out and addressed it during the event. Ceremony. It wasn't super long, but he did give an apology. He literally said the words, "I'm sorry." Yep. He said that they didn't live up to the high standards that they set for themselves, and that they reacted too quickly, and then
got back to the people too slow.
Yeah, and got back to the fan base too slow. So he did say he was going to take personal responsibility, and that they want to do better, and they hope to show that they'll do better through their actions, not just the words. Which I thought is actually a very well thought out apology.
That's all you can do, really.
Yeah, I mean,
and it didn't seem like he buttered it up either.
Yeah, I mean, what else is he going to do?
Much.
Yeah, so...
Well, I mean, you see lots of people saying all kinds of claims like, yo, we've never done this before, and, you know, we never intended all this kind of stuff, and we're this kind of company, and blah, blah, blah. They butter it up with all this kind of stuff. I feel like he was straight to the point. He's like, yo, we messed up in this way and that way. We're hoping not to do that. We're not going to do that again. That's our plans. And we're going to show you. We're not just going to say it.
Right. Yeah.
Short, simple, to the point.
So basically a wait and see type. Like, I'm sorry, but we're gonna make it up to you.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
So we'll see. There were still protests going on outside of BlizzCon. Like they didn't give up the ghost. You know, so it wasn't just. So I'm glad to see that people are still sticking to their convictions. Like if you had a major issue with Blizzard's actions here, there is still a vocal group who is out there basically reminding Blizzard like you can't take your fan base for granted. Like you have to basically, you have to show us that you're worth our patronage.
Yeah, and they were encouraged to continue to speak out. The fans were encouraged to continue to speak out, too. And I think that was a good touch on it.
Right. So they're definitely on the pathway to making up for this transgression. I personally feel like.
Yeah,
Like I'm personally not still holding like any kind of a grudge against them. Like I honestly, after they refunded BlizzCon's monies and
that's a big
lowered
move.
the sentence, I personally felt like they kind of did what they needed to do to rectify the first transgression. It's just the bad PR from it is still they're gonna have to deal with. But for me personally, like as an individual, I'm still not kind of holding any bad blood towards Blizzard.
That's why I said earlier I downloaded Hearthstone, but I haven't played it yet.
Well,
your opinion, Jeff, hasn't changed at all.
I'm still stuck in between. But I'm just ready to see how BlizzCon ends up and see what else they show and kind of see where we go from there. I think you both pretty much covered everything as far as the pros and cons of the situation with the whole prize money taken and their reaction to it afterwards. So,
okay,
that's going to close out our BlizzCon Diablo 4 Overwatch 2 stuff. We're going to move now into top threes. Who came up with this one? Jeff? Jeff came up with top 3 seasonal events in games.
I'll go first.
Go right ahead.
Well, DLC/seasonal events. I'm going to go with obviously the Destiny events. Whether that's all of them were actually pretty good.
So you just take everybody else's stuff.
What? Come on, man.
Because Destinies were always called the exact same thing. They weren't different. Like Halloween was one thing, and then Christmas was another thing. But Destiny, like their seasonal events they were great. I mean, you always had something new for Halloween, whether it was collecting candy and getting these masks that you could put on. The masks were cool. I mean, the Christmas ones where you could have like a snowball fight kind of. When they introduced the sparrow racing for Christmas was the first time.
That's actually one of mine. Is the sparrow racing?
Yeah, same here.
I'm sorry. I mean, I'm just giving you an overall event. So
that's cool. It's cool.
And then there was Red Dead Redemption. You had the Undead Nightmare DLC.
That's not a seasonal event.
Yeah, was that a seasonal event though?
Well, I meant
themed DLC.
Seasonal event. You know what I mean? something that kind of celebrated the holiday around the time that it came out, and that's kind of what that did. It was Halloween time, so you got to hunt zombies, and it was that darker story. Well, I mean, darker than killing people, but there were zombies and stuff kind of incorporated into that. Lastly would be the last one was a hard one. The last one was for me, and I'm gonna go with Overwatch's when the Olympics came out, the Winter Olympics.
Oh, that was cool.
The Summer Olympics was when they introduced Lucio Ball.
Yeah.
The first time. That was the Summer Olympics.
Yeah, that was Summer Olympics.
Yeah. That's why I switched it to the Summer Olympics. That one was actually pretty cool because then you had the different countries were represented in the different characters. Was cool. They would have their uniforms,
especially since that's like a big thing in Overwatch. Like all these characters are from different countries around the world, so that actually is very fitting for them.
Yeah, that was my top 3.
Cool. Like, I can go next if you want.
Top 12, my dude.
So Sparrow Racing was my first one from Destiny, because it was, and honestly, it was because it was so different than the other things. Like it was literally like Sparrow. People would Sparrow race in Destiny on missions. Like you'd be like, oh, I'll get there before you and stuff, and they turned those mechanics into a race course. I didn't feel like it was done perfectly, but the fact that they did it at all and made like a whole event out of it was really cool. Like you got all this like cool racing gear that you could wear and stuff, so like you looked like a sleek motorcycle driver or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was really fun, and I thought it was really cool, especially in a game that it wasn't made for. Like the fact that they kind of just cobbled that together and made it so interesting. It was only like 2 tracks, I think, the first time. I don't know if they eventually brought more in later, but I only really participated in like the first one. But My next one is actually Phantasy Star Universe.
Ooh.
Back when we used to play that joint, they would have like seasonal events, and around Christmas you would get like those big birds, the rappies. They would like wear like Santa hats.
Okay.
Like, yeah, there'd be like special quests or whatnot where if you could find like the rappy with like the certain color hat, you could get it and get like a special rare item and stuff. So it was cool.
Right.
Like they would decorate like the big lobbies and stuff and like big weird futuristic Christmas decorations and whatnot. So that was always fun. Kind of just seeing how like the lobbies in MMO type games would change or whatever. And on that note, my third one is Monster Hunter World's Spring Blossom Festival, because it's a lot of the same thing. One. Yeah, like the pig would wear like a honeybee costume and the handler wears like the cute bee costume and stuff. It's like they give you like fireworks as items that you can just like throw. I don't think they did anything other than were fireworks.
Yeah,
I got like maybe like 100 and something in inventory. Because what am I gonna do? Like, you know what? It'd be cool if like you did the fireworks and like the monster would be like stunned because they're looking at it like, oh, what's that?
That would be super. I'm gonna try one next time we get on.
But yeah, that's always fun, and like the fact that they give you like events with the festival that like let you probably do like older events as well as like new events that get you like cool new gear and stuff. So that was always fun, and the costumes that you get from those events. So that was always fun. So those are my top three.
Okay.
What you got?
All right. So for me, originally Destiny's Sparrow Racing was one of mine. I can switch it up. I got a couple. But I am gonna go to Monster Hunter World and go with their the autumn. What's it called? The Autumn Festival. The Halloween stuff.
Yeah.
The World Autumn Festival. Yeah, I liked the layered armor that they give you. You know, the harvest.
Yeah,
stuff.
It's like kind of skeletal.
But like the handler had this kind of gothic look to her. The lobbies was just really dark and spooky. And yeah, the skull pumpkin mask Reaper look was super cool. And I still use at least one piece of that layered armor in most of my builds. Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, my main build uses that chest piece, I think.
Right, yeah. It's kind of... Yeah, it's cool. It's super cool. Then we got Final Fantasy XIV, right? All Saints Wake, which is... I guess it's mostly the Halloween events that I really like. But they did this really cute thing where you and a friend... Oh, I actually got two for Final Fantasy XIV, but... They have this really cute thing where you and a friend go through this old mansion, and it's a haunted house, and you can't run, you have to walk through it, and supposedly your character is scared, and you have to pick up these things to find out where the ghosts are, and eventually you figure it out, and you get all these really cool rewards. There's a lot of really cool rewards in Final Fantasy XIV. That was a lot of like furniture and Halloween decorations that you could put up in your house if you're there. So it's really cool. With my free company, we do all the seasonal events. So whenever another event is coming up, we put up all those
decorations.
Exactly. So right now we're gonna have one of our officers and our amazing supporter, Miss Chibs the Penguin. She's going to be taking down our Halloween stuff, and we're moving into Thanksgiving. So I'm looking forward to that. We're going to make a big old turkey and stuff like that.
So they have like Thanksgiving decorations in the game?
I can't remember exactly what it's called. It's not called specifically Thanksgiving, and it's not Harvest, but there are some like turkeys around and some that's
funny.
It's fun. The second one in that one was called Little Ladies' Day. That's right.
Little Ladies' Day
is Valentine's Day. It's around the same time.
I would have thought it'd be like kind of the opposite of like Father's Day or Mother's Day or something.
Yeah,
like from the name.
it's not that, but they actually had these instances where you and another partner have to go through pretty much like this big maze, and it's supposed to show your compatibility because you have to flip switches to get through different parts of the maze and not get spotted and stuff, and you really have to work together to get through it. I thought it was really cute. You can get some mounts that actually linked up together. You have a left side and a right side, and when you sit next to each other on the mounts, it makes one big mount. So
weird.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Overwatch. I always love their anniversary event. It's just got everything in it.
Yeah.
And it just feels like
yeah.
everybody's playing during the anniversary event, and you can get every skin that's locked throughout the year. So
that is a good one, yeah.
Yeah, those are my three when it comes to seasonal events.
That's what's up. So,
yeah, man.
'Tis the season, as they say.
Okay.
This season.
So we're going to close things out with our games and trivia. We're going with high-low again this week. That was,
I finally won one last time.
Yeah,
I finally won last time. Yeah.
So let's see how you do this time. I realized as well that I should actually alternate who goes first in order to make it more fair. So
because I secured that bag last time.
Yeah, you kind of stole it last go around. But I also did come up with a tiebreaker mechanic as well. So if we do have a tie, there's a way we can resolve that.
Let's do it.
So I don't know. Who wants to flip a coin? I'm gonna flip my comb over here.
Flip a comb?
Does anybody have a coin?
Yeah.
Flips a comb. How do you
I don't know.
Flip something, anything.
I got a quarter.
All right. So, who wants heads? Who wants tails?
I'll go with heads.
Okay.
So Jeff called
Jeff
heads.
is going ahead.
Blue's gonna flip the coin, and then we'll figure out who goes first.
A standard U.S. nickel. There's the flip.
And it's
head.
Head. So Jeff gets to go first. So, our first game is first series. Remember,
series.
If you don't know how this game is played, I'm giving you guys video game series. So every single game within that series is counted, and we're comparing the gross sales. So you're going to tell me whether the next game grossed higher or lower than the previous game. Mm-hmm. So the first game we have is Civilization, the Civilization series.
Sid Meier's.
Yes. That is currently sitting at 40 million. Right?
Okay.
So, Mega Man. Has it grossed more or less than Civilization? Jeff, you have first pick.
More.
Jeff is going to say more. Blue.
I think Civilization... Oh, no, I'm supposed to say Mega Man did less than Civilization.
That's what you're going for.
Yeah.
And Blue's right. Mega Man is at 35 million. So just 5 million less than Civilization.
And Civ is still making games that people are buying.
I mean, Mega Man came out with 11 not too long ago.
Really?
He takes that personal. Let's just move on from that.
I actually don't like Civ at all. And Mega Man is probably one of my favorite video game characters.
I'm surprised you don't play Mega Man in Smash.
I tried. He doesn't feel
He's
good.
difficult.
Yeah. Okay, so Blue takes the first point. So, Mega Man, 35 million. Street Fighter, higher, lower?
Than Mega Man?
Series. Yeah, than Mega Man. So Jeff went first this go round. Blue, you go first.
I gotta say Street Fighter is higher than Mega Man. I can't see it going the other way.
Saying Street Fighter is higher. Jeff.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with higher as well.
Okay, both saying higher. You both get a point.
Hey, yeah.
Is at 43 million.
How much?
43. So pretty significant up there. So sticking with fighting games.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat. Is it higher or lower than Street Fighter?
Jeff's first, right?
Yeah, Jeff goes.
Higher.
Jeff is saying higher. Blue.
I think Mortal Kombat is lower than Street Fighter.
You are wrong. Mortal Kombat is higher at 49 million.
Okay.
So you guys are tied up right now.
Tied up.
Alrighty now. Blue, it's your question or your answer. Far Cry. Higher or lower than Mortal Kombat at 49 million?
Higher.
Blue saying higher. Jeff.
Yeah, higher.
Jeff is going to say higher as well. You're both right. 50 million.
There we go.
So 1 million more than Mortal Kombat series. Good stuff. So again, you guys are both tied.
Okay.
Next up, Far Cry is sitting at 50 million.
Yeah.
Borderlands, is it higher or lower than Far Cry? It's Blue's answer.
Oh wait, I thought it just went. Oh no,
Oh,
it was.
no, yeah, it's my turn.
No,
Yeah, it's my
it's Jeff's
turn.
turn. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with higher.
So
So Borderlands
Jeff
is higher
Borderlands
than.
is higher than Far Cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to say Far Cry is higher because it's been out a lot longer. Like the franchise is older, but I don't know. I know Borderlands 2 was crazy successful. Dang, I'm gonna say. You know what? I'm gonna mix this game up. Jeff said higher. I'm gonna go lower.
Alrighty, Jeff gets it. Borderlands
knew
is at
it.
53 million.
Okay.
Good stuff. Fallout. Higher or lower than Borderlands is 53 million?
I mean, it's my turn, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, with this $100 pass that's coming out for 76, I would say higher.
So Blue saying higher. Jeff,
Yeah.
is Fallout higher or lower than Borderlands at 53 million?
I'm gonna say higher as well.
So they're both saying higher. You're both wrong.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. Fallout is at 46 million.
Mm.
And,
So yeah, Borderlands really did sell a lot for 2, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Because both Far Cry and Fallout are much longer running series, and it's still outsold both of them.
exactly.
So, Fallout is at 46 million.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's on Jeff now, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
BioShock. Higher or lower than Fallout at 46 million?
I'm gonna say higher.
Jeff is going higher.
I'm thinking low.
Blue's going lower. Blue's correct. BioShock,
Yes.
strangely enough,
Yeah.
only sold 25 million.
I believe
Oh
it.
my god.
Yeah, it's a
I
lot
believe
lower.
it.
So
When
once
there's
again, you
no
guys are
multiplayer
tied.
involved, people don't buy it as much.
It is Blue's answer. So now we're comparing BioShock at 25 million to Castlevania. Is it higher or lower than BioShock?
Castlevania, huh? When's the last time they put something out? You said only 25 million for BioShock?
Yeah, BioShock is at 25 million.
BioShock. Yo, that's a tough one.
That's why I put them in this order.
That's a tough one. I'm gonna go with my gut and say BioShock is higher.
So you're saying Castlevania is lower than BioShock?
Yes, Castlevania is lower.
Okay. Jeff.
I'm gonna say Castlevania is higher.
Jeff is saying higher. Blue gets it. Castlevania is actually lower than BioShock at 20 million.
Yeah.
So that was actually surprising to me because Castlevania has a ton more games, like a bunch of
Yes.
DS games and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
bunch of console games spread out all over the place, but only 20 million in sales. Crazy.
Damn.
I believe it.
Okay.
So that's 5 for Blue, 4 for Jeff. Blue actually wins. Those are all the questions.
There we go.
I'm kind of mad I didn't get to do the tiebreaker. But we
I
can do it
know,
anyway.
right?
We can do it for a bonus point.
Can we do it anyway?
Sure. Let's do the tiebreaker for bonus points.
Okay.
So this has a slightly different mechanic.
Okay.
We're looking at the Prince of Persia series.
Oof.
Both of you have to come up with a guess for the number sold, and whoever gets the closest will be the winner. So it's that you can't compare to one another. Kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have like pens or whatnot around you, but think of
Okay.
get the number in your head. And I'm gonna have you just say them at close to the same time.
Okay.
Okay.
I was gonna do that petty prices right.
Right, when you just
If
go
Jeff
like
is like 20 mil, I'm like 20 million and one.
exactly. So let me know when you guys have your numbers.
I'm ready.
Man. For
Jeff
Prince
has
of
his number.
Persia?
For Prince of Persia series.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So across all versions of Prince of Persia. So you're both ready? Three.
Just about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing math.
So you wrote yours down. Jeff has his in his head. So you can just show yours to the camera.
And I'll say it too, yeah.
Yeah, and then Jeff can just say it.
Ready?
3, 2, 1.
50 million.
30 mil.
Okay, so Jeff said 50 mil. Blue's going with 30 mil. Blue is the closest. Prince of Persia sold 20 mil.
Wow. Yeah. That's
No
crazy.
wonder it's such a trash series.
All right, why? Yeah, that explains why they shelved it for Assassin's Creed or something, right?
Yep.
Man,
Oh,
so
man.
that was the bonus. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you
Yeah,
guys
that was
listening
good.
enjoyed that. That's gonna do it for episode 23 of the BBET GamesCast. Jeff, where can people find you on the internet?
So you can find me at Superman Jeff 12 Plays on Facebook. And you can find me on Superman Jeff 12 on Mixer.
That's what's up. Blue, where can people find you?
It's your boy Blue Bones BLUB0NES. You can find me on Mixer at mixer.com/BlueBonesXB as an Xbox. That's right. And I've been mad active on Twitter recently.
That's what's up.
Come through, check me out. BLUB0NES. You can also check out my Facebook at Play with Blue Bones. And yeah, keep up with our streams. I've been doing I did Final Fantasy the other day. It was a little choppy, but
Yeah, I caught a little
that
bit
new
of
patch. That new patch is crazy. Like, it's a really good continuation. Like, things I forgot about before, they kind of brought it back up. Like, yeah, these people are still dying. You got to take care of that. So, definitely, come through the streams, come through the Facebook. You'll see it pop up all everywhere.
And follow the BBET Twitter.
Yes.
BBET Gaming.
Most definitely.
At
Mhm.
BBET Gaming on Twitter, right?
That's right.
All right, so follow that.
Sigma, where can they find you?
I'm on all social media at Sigma Gears 9.
Yep.
You can find me on Facebook at Sigma and Son. You can find me on YouTube at BBET Gaming, so search for that. And please send us emails with questions or topics or your impressions of Death Stranding, like Jeff mentioned. Send us emails. We want those. We crave them at BBETGaming@gmail.com. So,
You got it.
so definitely hit us up. Give us the feedback so that we can, talk to you guys more often on this aspect. Check out our streams throughout the week. And that's going to do it for episode 23.
Hey.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Blue. Peace.
Adios.
Tryna get bread, your niggas in deep sleep. At least I'm woke, nigga, I'm a beast, at least I know. Whoa. Tryna get rid of me, but I am the epitome of acidity. Pockets fatter than Gabby City. I had a dream and I seen just what I'm finna be. The shit is obscene, I'm on the scene. And